On camera, you see Rick and Chuck get confronted by the mom. She starts yelling. She's throwing everybody out. You see the production company van drive away. Rick and Chuck are standing there going, what the heck happened? Back in 2013, I get a call from a production guy. Oliver was his name, and he was English. And they're talking about an upcoming reality, automotive-based reality show, and they're looking for talent. I start talking to this guy, and he's over in the UK. I was like, well, how'd you find me? He goes, believe it or not, he goes, we were searching for classic car dealers in California on the West Coast, and he goes, I saw your social media, and I saw you do a lot of stuff with cars, and you do auctions, and you build cars and hot rods. I said, yeah. So, and he goes, I found your Facebook page, and I got you through your Facebook page. And that's the early days of Facebook. That was 2000 and, well, semi-early, but that was like 2013, I was on Facebook, I guess, since about 2009. And we start talking. He tells me about this show, and he goes, there's not really a title for it yet. He goes, but it's the premise is to find car hordes or like overwhelming car collections of people that have hordes of cars, but they want to restore them, but they can't get them done. And a team's going to come in and pull the car out and restore it. So I said, that sounds interesting. So he goes, would you be open to do a screen test? I said, yeah, absolutely. So I did a screen test on the computer first, and then they called me back a couple days later and said, all right, we want to do a live one. We found the shop in Carlsbad, California. We introduced you to Rick Dorr. I said, Rick Dorr, the customizer? He goes, you know him? I said, yeah, of course I know him. I said, I've seen his cars. I've seen his work. I said, funny, I'm from New York originally, and Rick is from New York originally. So he goes, yeah, you're going to meet up with Rick Dorr. I have to go to Carlsbad. I had a killer 57 Chevy, sedan delivery, wicked small block, 6-speed. It was on a custom chassis, just a neat car. I said, you know what, I'm going to take this over there. And because they wanted me to bring some kind of a hot rod because they were going to do some photographs and stuff like that. So I dig the car out of the showroom, drive it over to Carlsbad, meet Rick. And what they're doing is they're filming me and him. They didn't know how the talent in the show was going to work. Rick needed the right-hand guy. And I've never done any TV before. I've done a little bit of stuff, but nothing on a show. Prior to that, we filmed a TV pilot for CNBC to the point that we did a whole pilot, got it edited, got it done, and we never went into production. They went a different way. I meet up with Rick. They're filming. We're doing all these little scenes and talking about cars and ideas and throwing stuff out there. Day of filming, over and done with, don't hear anything. All right, maybe I'll get something, maybe I won't. This is like November, probably January. I'm getting ready to go to Scottsdale for Barrett Jackson. I get a call from the production company. And at this point, after Scottsdale, January, in February, I'm moving back to Phoenix, moving the business and everything back to Phoenix. I'm leaving California, going smaller operation in Phoenix, Arizona, my new company, new business name and everything. We sit down with the production and the producer, another English guy. His name was Simon, super nice guy. Likes my material, likes the way I appear on camera, but he goes, Joe, you're really the car guy. He goes, we're going to bring somebody else in, and it's going to be Chuck Palumbo. I said, oh, that's right. He's a motorcycle guy, former wrestler. I used to watch Chuck wrestle. I said, he goes, I said, of course I know who he is. Yeah. So he goes, but you're going to be involved, but you're going to be the guy that we want to go out and appraise the car collections, look at these hordes, and figure out what we're going to build. And then Rick and Chuck are going to do Chuck's going to be the builder, Rick's going to be the designer. I said, great. So I get tied into the whole thing. We start doing production and filming. Our first one, we go to Fallon, Nevada. Guy's got a huge collection of cars. Now, I would go out first a couple days or a week or two in front of production, look at the cars, give them an estimate. This is what this horde of cars are worth. Then they'd figure out what car they want to build for the customer, and then there was always like a second car or a second build that they would do. I would sell the cars off to fund that build. That was the premise of the show. Didn't always go as planned. They had 2 identical shops built. You couldn't tell on TV. So they do one build in here, they do a tear-down build in here, and both shops, when they filmed, looked identical. Same shelving, same signage, everything. So they could do 2 episodes at the same time. It was a pretty interesting concept, and I was enjoying it. I'd fly. Now I'm moved back to Arizona. 90% of the filming was in California. Those where the shop was. And then we had locations where we do these hordes. So every week I'd have to fly to California for a couple days. It was kind of rough on business because you had to leave the business. You had to, do stuff. I had to leave people in charge, then come back. And it was kind of hairy. But they were compensating me well, and it was fun to do it. So I liked doing it. Rick and Chuck, they're doing their thing. Rick's the designer, Chuck's the builder. There was a little animosity there. A lot of people don't know it. It came out after the show, but a lot of times Rick and Chuck didn't talk, only on camera. They didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things. And I was the mediator in between sometimes. And it was, I had to be the guy that would look at all the cars, say, okay, this is what it's worth. Well, what are we building? Okay, we're going to build that and put the whole thing together. Then, all right, well, I got to sell off. Well, Joe, we got to get 200 grand worth of stuff sold. And I'd be selling the stuff off. So I did everything on eBay. We sold everything on eBay. It was easy. I didn't have to market it through Auto Trader and online sales stuff. So I would put everything on eBay. And then it got to the point, well, how are we going to get some of this stuff out of there? Half the stuff didn't run. I said, we'll get transporters in there. And it was working good. We'd sell the cars. We did a good listing on eBay. In the beginning of the eBay listing, explained that this stuff is being sold off for a docudrama reality TV show. You're no way connected to the show if you buy anything, blah, 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 yada, 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 legal speak. And everything was selling. Good, quick, fast, because people would see it, I get a piece of something from a TV show. Meanwhile, the show hasn't even aired yet. We're still in production. We're selling stuff off, and we'd raise money. Everything went over budget. Nothing, of course, sold within budget. They figure, okay, well, this build's going to cost us 80 grand. Joe, you got to sell 80 to 100 grand to cover everything. The bill cost 150. We sold 60. So they were in a hole on everyone. And that's just the way TV is. The production company dealt with it. While this was going on, I go look at a collection in California. Guys got a bunch of old Chryslers and Mopars, really neat stuff. It was a mother and daughter. The father passed away. The daughter was basically daddy's little girl, and she was a car girl, and she was into all this stuff. The mother could care less about it. She just wanted the junk out of there as far as she was concerned. And there was some cool stuff. A couple of nice 59 and 60 Chrysler 300s, a bunch of Mopars, a Max Wedge car, just some neat stuff. We were going to restore 2 of them. I went in, put a number on everything. The mother was a little hesitant on the whole deal, but she came around and said, okay, let's do it. The daughter was really pushing the deal hard because she was going to get a car out of the thing when it was done. You always got a finished product, and they got a car done. They inked the whole deal. They go there to start filming. They put me on a plane, fly me out to Virginia to go look at another horde of cars. And now we were going to do an East Coast deal, which I went and looked at, spent a day out there, looked at the stuff, and it just wasn't the type of stuff that we could really build anything. The guy didn't have a lot of stuff. It was kind of a wasted trip, but that was our fallout for another episode. While I'm out there, I get a call that the whole deal in California completely imploded in like a 30-minute period while they're filming. I'm like, what happened? The mom threw everybody off the property. She wanted nothing to do with any of this stuff. She thought the daughter was in it for the money to get the dad's stuff. They had a big blowout. It's all on camera. We're not going to do an episode, but we're going to probably use some part of it in an upcoming episode. I fly back to Arizona. A week later, I fly back to California to do some post-production stuff on another episode that we did. And I hear the whole story. Apparently, the mom came in and thought the daughter was in cahoots with the production company, was doing this just to get the thing sold so she could get the money, get one of these cars, and not have anything to do with the mom after that. It really turned into a big drama. On camera, you see Rick and Chuck get confronted by the mom. She starts yelling. She's throwing everybody out. You see the production company van drive away. Rick and Chuck are standing there going, what the heck happened? That we lost the episode, but it ended up turning into being a really good episode because of the story in there. And you just never know what happens with this reality shows. Everybody says they're all scripted and fake. And, yeah, they are scripted to a point. You do start with a good premise, but you have to add some color to it to make it more inviting to the people watching and keep everybody, in tune for the next episode. But in this case, this was real deal stuff. I mean, the woman threw everybody out. They saved it on film and they cut it into the episode. And it was a lot of fun. So we go back to the shop and we do some post-production stuff. Chuck and Rick never spoke after the 3rd episode of filming. They never spoke. They would come on camera together, do their thing, and go away. They didn't. They just they bumped heads the whole time. And apparently that happens in a lot of TV shows, that the two talents, maybe they're too big for each other and they just don't see eye to eye, and one feels that they're this, the other one feels that they're that, but they can't find a happy medium in between. I was the go-between, so I had to deal with Rick, I had to deal with Chuck. They were both great guys. I had no problem with either one of them. And we had a lot of fun and a lot of laughs doing the TV show. We did 6 episodes, about 8 months of time to do the whole thing. I was commuting back and forth from Arizona. They were flying me all over to do all this stuff. It was a lot of fun. The show launched in 2014, had a great time. They came back for 2015, moved it to a different shop, changed the format. I didn't come back to do the second season. It was a lot of fun. In hindsight, when you see this stuff being filmed, you just don't realize what it takes to put this stuff together. And when you see it put together in real time, you're like, wow, this is a little more complicated than I thought. It looks so easy on TV, and people think it is easy on TV. It just doesn't go down that way all the time. And there was a couple other funny stories that happened, in there. We'd be out walking around this field in the middle of the California desert, and we're getting stung by bugs, and somebody got stung by a scorpion, and there's snakes everywhere, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
When you're buying a pre-owned car, it is critical to get a professional mechanic to inspect it every time. And so the Lemon Squad is the easiest way to do that and the most affordable. Generally within 24 or 48 hours, they can get somebody on site anywhere in the country with their nationwide network of trained professional mechanics that are going to give you a ton of pictures and a full report of exactly what's going on with this car. It's a great way to avoid scams, and it's a great way to get a very clear picture of the car that you're buying, and this ammunition can make you the shrewdest negotiator of all. It also makes the drive home a whole lot easier and keeps a little bit more money in your pocket, and I know that you'll love the results from the Lemon Squad. So check them out now at the link in the description below for a special discount and to make sure that you're buying the car that you think you are.